Hi everyone, welcome back to Spratt Stem Academy. Today's video is SAT Saturday video number 4, and this video will be going through questions 10 through 12. Let's get straight into it. In number 10, the question states, the graph of y equals 2x squared plus 10x plus 12 is shown. If the graph crosses the y-axis at the point 0k, what is the value of k? So let's write down our goal. We want to figure out what we're looking for in this problem, or what we need to do. And they're asking us to find k. So we're going to be finding some value that completes this coordinate right here. So you can also rewrite this as 0y, because you know that a coordinate is going to be written as xy. So they've done a very nice thing by giving us the equation, because when you have the function or equation, you can just plug in your xy point into your x and y in the function. So since we have 0 and we're looking for the y, or in this case k, we can simply plug in 0 into the equation and solve for y to find k. So we're going to do that. Here's the equation. And since you have 0 for your x value, you're going to plug in 0 everywhere you see an x. So it's going to be 2 times 0 squared plus 10 times 0 plus 12. And that's going to give you 0 plus 0 plus 12. So y equals 12. Or in this case, it really is k. So equals k. So the answer choice for this question is answer choice D. Let's look at question 11. A circle in the xy plane has center 5, 7, and radius 2. Which of the following is an equation of the circle? So this is one of those problems that I like to call sort of a memorization kind of problem, because it's really important that you memorize your circle equation. In the SAT, there are just certain equations that you want to remember, like slope formula, y equals mx plus b. You also want to include having the equation of a circle formula memorized, mainly because sometimes they will pull these kind of questions out on you. So before we get into the equation, let's write down our goal. Find equation. Okay, so the general formula for a circle is given as x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. And this looks a little confusing, but you know x and y, those are just going to be some values on the x and y coordinate plane. H and k, those are going to represent the center of the circle, so the center point. So this is also going to be some coordinate point. And then r squared, that's going to be your radius, but notice it's r squared, so it's going to be the radius of the circle squared. So that's the equation of a circle. Now let's look at the problem. We have center, so center point 5, 7, and radius 2. So if we know the general formula for a circle, we can simply rewrite it to match the information that we have. X is just going to be x, but the h is going to be our x value of our center, so minus 5 squared, plus y stays the same. K is going to be the y value of our center point, so that's 7 squared equals r squared. And they told us our radius is 2, so that's going to be our r, but it's squared. So it's not just going to be 2, it's going to be 2 squared, which is 4. So we're going to write 4. And so your equation now looks like this. And so this answer choice best aligns with answer choice A. Okay, and then here we're on to our last question, number 12, which states, in the figure above, triangle ABC is similar to triangle DEF. What is the value of cosine of E? This is where you really want to make sure you have your sine, cosine, and tangent identities memorized. You also might want to remember, if you've learned this in school, SOHCAHTOA, which is essentially just something that helps you memorize how to find sine, cosine, and tangent. So let's look, well, first let's write down our goal. Our goal is we need to find cosine of E. Okay, and so before we ask ourselves how we find cosine, let's look at this diagram that we have here. We have two triangles, and they've told us a very important piece of information, that the triangles are similar. So meaning the ratio of the sides for this triangle are going to be the same as this triangle. So we want to find the value of cosine of E. So that means the cosine of angle E. So we're going to find E, which is on this triangle right here. And whenever they say cosine of E, that means you're going to be using this angle, so the angle E, and you're going to be using the side measurements of the triangle to find that cosine or that function. So cosine, the cosine formula is adjacent over hypotenuse. So it's going to be the measure or the ratio of the sides. So since these are similar, we see that there are no side measurements given for this triangle. But since these are similar triangles, we can simply use these side measurements over here because the ratio is going to be the same. So we know that to find cosine of E, we're going to have to use the adjacent side to E divided by the hypotenuse side of the triangle. So if we look at the adjacent side, which is going to be the side that's right here, note that this is the adjacent, this would be the opposite side, and the longest side, this side right here, that would be the hypotenuse. And this is adjacent. Okay, and one last thing before we plug in our numbers, I know that this is adjacent over hypotenuse because I'm using this is just a really nice geometry kind of memorization tool. But the A stands for adjacent, the H stands for hypotenuse, and the C stands for cosine, so that's just how I memorized that. To find the cosine, I need the adjacent over hypotenuse ratio. So adjacent, since we don't have a value here, we're going to be using this value. So it's going to be 12 divided by hypotenuse. We don't have a value for our hypotenuse on the triangle, but we do have one here on the similar triangle. So that is 13. And so cosine of E is 12 over 13. Answer choice B. So that is how you would answer that question. I hope this all made sense. If you liked it, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to follow for more.